Hey, what's up? It's Matt in Japan and welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking a look at Transformers Legacy Evolution Scraphook. So there he is in the packaging, and speaking of the packaging, this is the new Evolution packaging where you see no plastic except tape and glue. And on the top there, instead of the plastic hook there, you get the cardboard. You just see a QR code which leads you to Hasbro's website, some language information there. Pretty much standard fare for the rest. You see the logos down the side. And he is a deluxe class figure, so a very cool piece of artwork there. In his truck mode, on the side you get a nice piece of artwork of Scraphook in his robot mode, close-up of his head there, looking very Junkion-like. And on the bottom you get some product info. On the side, again, you get a little bit more blurb about the plastic-free packaging, the Evolution artwork, which is very, very cool. And on the back you get your product shots. So there is Scraphook in his robot mode. He converts in 17 steps. Now this guy actually does convert from robot to vehicle, so which is very cool. He doesn't just kind of break apart in parts form, although you can do that as well. And his Evofusion gimmick is Armada Universe Hotshot. He can combine with him and make him look very cool, kind of a powered up Hotshot there. So very, very cool. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at Scraphook, see what he's all about. All right, here are Scraphook and the packaging, and before we get into his details, let's take a quick look at the 6 accessories he comes with. One of them is, the first one, rather, is this sort of spare tire looking shield spiky thing here, cast in that gray plastic that we all know and love. You get some nice detail on the front there, and on the back there's a peg there, and it can be used in many of his 5mm ports, and the instructions do say to put this guy on the side of his arm like so it can act like a shield. Now, the next accessory is this little hook that fits more on the vehicle mode as like a tow truck here. So this actually can be moved around. This is on a separate peg, which is very nice. Originally, I thought it was just, one molded piece, but it's nice to have it on the outside so you can actually like tow things. But it does show it like this. So anyways, again, that's sort of that same gray plastic, and so you can get some nice molded detail. And the instructions say to put it on his arm like so. So it just plugs in on his arm like that. Now the next 2 accessories are sort of the not bagpipes, the exhaust pipes. I don't know why I was thinking bagpipes. They're exact same, cast again in that gray plastic, and some nice little detail on the exhaust pipes there. And the instructions say to put these guys on his sort of upper shoulders like so. So they'll just plug in like that and plug in like that. So already he's looking pretty cool here. So last 2 accessories are these little sort of, in robot mode, I guess they're guns. In vehicle mode, they are the engine parts. And again, that same gray plastic with a little bit of sort of rust orange paint over the top. So very, very nice. Now, one thing to note is that when you plug these in vehicle mode, they kind of act as the filler for the engine part. They plug in very, very tight. I actually had a problem getting them out. So just be careful. You don't want to, chip the paint or anything like that. So anyways, but in robot mode, they act as these guns. So they just plug in like so. In that hand and in this hand. Like that. So that is how he should be armed up via the instructions. So very, very cool looking. Let's pause and get into Scraphook's details. All right, let's take a closer look at Scraphook's details. First and foremost, let's get in close on that head sculpt. A very, very cool head sculpt. You got some nice gray plastic for the face, some nice sculpted in goatee work there, and one eye is painted red, and also the really nice brown paint on the helmet with this sort of gray crest. A very nice looking head sculpt indeed. Going down the figure, just molded detail all over this guy. Very, very nice. You see some really nice sort of beige paint here for the upper arms and shoulders. You get some nice red with the Autobot logo front and center on the chest. And going down the figure, again, you get some really nice detail on the legs. Definitely see more in truck mode, and you see some painted red knobs here, spikes on the legs there, and so just very cool detail. Again, I think the vehicle mode probably shows it off a little bit better, but that's how he looks. And from the back, he has a little bit of a backpack, but it's actually kind of cool. It actually fits in together, so it actually is meant to be kind of like a backpack, so it doesn't look that bad. Not too bad from the back, but yeah, all in all, a very cool figure. So I'm gonna bring in some comparisons here, and I just love the coloring on this because I think they did a really good job. For example, bringing in Junk Heap, other sort of Junkions here, Junk Heap and Wreck-Gar. If you compare these guys as far as like colors and stuff, trying to get them all in the shot here. Let me just pull back just a little bit, get them all in there. Yeah, so if you kind of compare like the colors, like the red and the red and the browns and the brown, that sort of rust color, I think it goes really well. They really make a nice cohesive set here. So sort of Scraphook is Junk Heap and Rekdar's little brother, looks like. So very, very nice, and I really like the the similarities between the two. So very, very cool. Anyways, let's pause and get into articulation for this guy. So this guy being sort of a weaponizer of sorts, he's highly articulated, but mostly because all of his parts kind of, they break apart into smaller pieces. So anyways, that being said, let's get into articulation. So the head is on it's on a hinge here because of transformation, but it is just on a swivel joint. There's no real movement on the head, and actually the back of the head is super hollow. But yeah, there's no ball joint or anything, so you only get a 360 on the head, which is a little bit unfortunate. It would have been nice to have a little bit more expression on the head part. The shoulders, again, because this guy kind of pulls apart and stuff, these are all just on pegs, so he does have the full range on his shoulder. His arms can go out that much, still it gets hindered by this huge shoulder part. There is an upper bicep swivel hidden under there somewhere. There it is. And then the elbow end can go a little bit more than 90 because of transformation. And we do have a nice wrist swivel, so that's always very, very handy when posing and things. So some nice movement on the arms, shoulders. So getting those arms out of the way. He does have a full waist rotation, and he can do the full splits. He's got the full splits going on there. And he can kick back that much, kick forward really high. Wow, he's got the full Van Damme there. And he's got nothing at the upper thigh, but he does have a knee rotation, basically because this pulls apart. And then he does have a 90-degree at the knee, and he has some really nice foot movement because of transformation. Again, his toe can go all the way forward like that, all the way back like that, and then there is a very tight ankle rocker joint, which is very deep. So you get this guy in some really cool poses, and again, because he kind of pulls apart and things, he has a lot of articulation, so that is definitely a good thing. So I'm going to pull him apart, and we're going to get him in his sort of souped up armored mode for Hot Shot. Okay, so part of Scraphook's Evo Fusion gimmick here is he can be pulled apart and armed up other figures. For example, Armada Universe Hot Shot. So there he is on the back of the box, and voila, there he is in real life. So yeah, pretty cool. Very nice powered up mode for Hot Shot here. Just give you a quick look at how it's done. Basically, these parts are his shoulders. Not the most stable thing in the world, but his arms on the back do give him some stability. His gun's there on the side. He has his own gun there. He has that wheel sort of shield there on the side. He's got the hook for a weapon there. And then the legs actually fit onto the ports on his shoulders. And then you have those little exhaust pipes sticking out. So actually a pretty cool silhouette. There's nothing on the back. You are left with sort of a limbless Scraphook. I tried fitting him on somewhere, but there's no real pegs or anything. They're all just ports, so it's kind of a little bit difficult to add that part to it. So there is the limbless Scraphook there. But yeah, all in all, not a bad little powered up version here. So very cool. So much playability with this figure. I could see, just endless hours of making your own sort of figures and arming up other figures as well. So very, very cool. So let's pause again. Let's get into Scraphook's transformation. Okay, first thing you want to do is go on the back here and just open up the backpack like so. Get some room to work with there. Flare that out like that. And then next thing you want to do is sort of unhinge the shoulders here at this joint right here. There's two pegs that peg in right like that. And then at that point, you can take this part and bring it down like so. And then this part under his head there is basically the grill of the truck. You want to just fold that up, and that forms the front of the truck. And then just sort of pull this down like so, like that. And then what you want to do is come down to the legs, and then basically tab the legs together like so. And so they form sort of the front of the truck there. Make sure those are tabbed in there like that. And just make sure that snaps together. That is the front of the truck there. Okay, there we go. Nice and tight. So basically you have the front of the truck formed. Now for the back of the truck, this part gets a little bit finicky here, a little tricky. So basically you want to turn the waist 180. And then what you're going to do is so this part goes down like that. And you can kind of see where it's going. All right, so we have something like this. And then basically what you want to do is take this piece here, On the bottom, there's a slot and there's a little peg right there, and you want to just clip that in so it stays secure. It should pop right in there. Sometimes easier said than done, so that is nice in there. And then you want to have something that looks kind of like this, so with its arms facing out like this. And then just kind of leave this open a little bit because you need some room to work here. And again, these things will fall off because they're just on these pegs, and they're not very tight at all. So you will have these fall off. And then basically what you want to do is position the arm so that they'll fold in on the elbow joint. And then there's pegs on the inside of either arm, and those pegs are going to fit into slots right here. So basically what you're going to do is I kind of like to move this in like that so it's ready to peg into the car door there. And then I folded in the arms like so. So you should have something that looks like this. Yeah, this part is a little bit fiddly. So anyways, these pegs will slot into posts on the side of the truck there. If we can get those slotted in like that. It's sometimes easier if you just kind of get everything together and then peg it in. So, and then there's a peg and a hook right there that pegs together like that. And then basically what you can do is just kind of, I like to just kind of squeeze everything together and just making sure that side's in. Let's just make sure this side is in. And that is straight. Okay, so, and then just kind of do one last squeeze. And then the car door will slot into a peg right there. And then there are tabs right here that'll slot into the sides of the car door. So basically, you want to just do that first. So just peg in that side there. And we'll peg in this side here. And then everything is just sort of the old transformer scrunch here, making sure everything fits together. And then lastly, that part will hook in like so. And there you have Scraphook in his vehicle mode. I'm very sorry for that. That was kind of a mess there. Now the fun part, to add on the parts. So basically, the spare tire or shield goes on the back. There's a peg and a slot right there. So that part goes there. Let's see what else. And the engine parts, which are the, where the guns will slot in like this. And these are very tight, so be very careful. I kind of don't like to push them in all the way, but I'll just kind of lightly put them in there. When I was trying to take them out, they really get stuck in there. So I just kind of gently stick them in there so they're easier to get out. So that is how that's looking. And then for the cool exhaust pipes here, these will fit on the back like so. And the other side like that. So cool looking. I love that look there. And then finally you got the hook, the tow truck hook, which is very cool. It's off center here, so it doesn't like, so when you put it in, it makes it look like it's centered. So there's not two pegs or anything, but it's a very clever design that if you put it in like that, it just centers itself. So very, very cool. If I can get it pegged in properly. And this just fell off. All right, so there we go. There we have Scraphook in his vehicle mode with all of his accessories plugged in. Now you can I have this on the outside. You're supposed to have it on the inside, I think, because it gets a little bit hindered by the back tire. But I mean, that's kind of what a tow truck should look like, right? Tow truck should look like. So anyways, let's pause and let's get into Scraphook's vehicle details. All right, so we finally got this guy into his vehicle mode. A little bit tricky. That back section with the arms is a real pain in the butt. I will say that right now. But anyways, a very cool looking vehicle mode. So first and foremost, let's take a look at that grill. Man, this is something out of Mad Max. This is just so cool. I mean, so much molded detail in the front here. You get the sort of crossed out headlights. You get that front grill. You got the little winch there. And just tons of detail all over this guy. We saw these sort of spikes in robot mode, but just going around the figure, the iron, sort of like the iron bars and the spikes up here with the lights. I mean, this is totally just futuristic Mad Max looking here. You get some nice orange paint for the rims, and it's very cool that there are 5mm ports all over this guy on the tires, on the side, on this part. This guy can be armed up to the gills, and some really cool sort of slashing effect here on this part. Almost looks like it's been patched up and stuff. Very, very cool. The detail on this is absolutely amazing. On the top, not so much. On the back, you get your little sort of gas tanks, which is very cool. And then you do sort of miss some detail. There's sort of like a band-aid there to cover up that little scratch or the crack right there, which is very cool, which you don't see with these things on, and that is exactly why I dropped that, just to show you that. But anyways, yeah, very, very cool. And then of course you have the spare tire, the spiked shield thing on the back and the tow truck part. So very, very cool. I'm sure you can get some other vehicles and have them towed away at to the junkyard there, and he rolls really nicely. So anyways, wow, this guy is awesome in both modes. Let's pause and give you my final thoughts. Okay, so some final thoughts for Scraphook as he spins around on the old turntable here. This is just a super fun figure, and really both modes are great. I think the robot mode is fun. It's super articulated because he pulls apart and stuff, and the vehicle mode is amazing too. The sculpt work on the vehicle mode is absolutely amazing. The fact that he comes with all the accessories, super fun. He can be taken apart. You can arm up other figures. You can just play with him and put him in different combinations and things. Just endless fun with this figure. Can't get enough of it. I highly recommend it. If you guys see this, definitely add him to your collection. So anyways, this has been the video review for Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Scraphook. This has been Matt in Japan, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day, guys.